Hey everyone, Alex here, and it's day 31 of me reading classical advertisements to get better at my English accent, also to get better at marketing overall. Today we have another ad from Eugene Schwartz, and we'll be reading that as we go. Right, so it says, why were bankers warned that this new book would upset savings apple carts? How to make up to 13 and a half or more on your savings, all fully insured. There are many things banks don't like to talk about. They don't like to talk about the fact that they do indeed pay interest rates of 8%, 10%, 13.5%, and often more to a select group of knowledgeable depositors. What's the difference between these men and women and you? Simply this, that they know certain inside techniques of depositing and withdrawing their savings, all perfectly legal incidentally, that you don't. And therefore, they earn 2 or 3 times as much interest on those savings as you do. Like this, would you would it be worth an extra 10 minutes a month to you to bring home 2 or 3 times as many dollars from your savings as you are getting today? The procedure is simple, but to put it to work for you tomorrow, you have to know these few smart money facts. One, most thrifty people in this country today are actually losing money on their savings. The interest they get from a regular bank account is actually far less than the lost purchasing power that inflation cuts right out of their savings. This is one of the great social tragedies of our time. It means that if you are thrifty and prudent in this country today, you are penalized. Either you are driven to speculate in the stock market where you can be wiped out overnight, or you try to secure safety for your hard earned capital in the bank and watch inflation turn your dreams of early retirement and financial independence into dust. Two, but you just don't have to accept these two tra- tragic choices any longer. Now, there is a third way to invest your money that gives you the absolute safety you want, plus huge guaranteed returns that you may not even have dreamed possible before. All right, it says, read what the banking industry itself says about this startling volume. New book could upset the savings apple cart. Tight money, regulation skill, and the matured age of the consumer are key ingredients to a flammable mixture about to be ignited by a book which could explode in the face of the commercial banking industry this year. This is the millions of people who have saved a few dollars in the form of savings accounts and insurance have been prevented from gaining any profit from their investment. Indeed, they have been forced to accept real losses by what amounts to government agency fiat. These depositors have contributed more, perhaps, to the growth of our economy than any other group, and it is unjust that controls controls apply only to interest rates to depositors, while there are no controls over the inflation, wage, and price increases. Conditions permitting this 20 years of discrimination should be changed. I am quoting from a book titled Don't Bank on It: How to make up to 13.5% and more on your savings, or fully insured. The book is dedicated to the members of the median income groups, those truly forgotten men whose savings deposits make bankings as we know it possible. Don't bank on it. May be coming out at an auspicious time as the general public is becoming more aware of high interest rates, and thanks to truth in lending thanks to truth in lending is being conditioned to look at rates of 12 to 18% as low. Rates at 12 or 18% as low. No doubt he will soon recognize that 4 or 5% is peanuts. That's the Bank Marketing Management, February 1970. This is about the authors. Martin J. Mayer is the president of the National Depositors Cooperative Association. He also serves as vice president and secretary of Intercept Telecommunications Inc., a new international cable and telegraphic inception and forwarding organization. Mr. Mayer has written numerous magazine arc- articles on banking, thrift, and inflation. Then we have Dr. Joseph M. McDaniel Jr., recently elected president of the World Health Organization, was secretary of the Ford Foundation from 1953 until his retirement in 1967, and dean of the School of Commerce at Northwestern University. His distinguished career includes government service with the Economic Cooperative Association. And we continue with number three. It says that it is based on on one simple fact that most depositors are completely passive about where and how they save their money. They never take the 1 or 2 hours that are necessary to learn the inside workings of the banking system. Therefore, they never even hear about the super savings accounts, and the super savings account that can yield them far more than ordinary interest on their money. And above all, they have never heard about the simple ingenious techniques of loophole depositing, active precisely timed deposits and withdrawals that take an average of 10 minutes of your time per month and bring you back 8% to 13.5%, even 19% on every dollar, with exactly the same total safety that you get on ordinary bank accounts today. You do only what the banks and savings and loan associations themselves openly permit, except now you do it a little smarter. At this moment in the entire country, out of the over 100 million people who have savings accounts, only about 40,000 of them use these techniques. They are just brand new, virtually unknown. Only now has a book been published that reveals them to every man and woman who is willing to risk an its pound stamp to live to lend them. The time required to read this book from cover to cover is approximately one weekend, or if you wish to skip the banking background at its beginning, it will take you up an hour or two to learn these techniques, active depositing the techniques themselves. And once you learn them, from that moment on, you will be able to exploit every legal loophole in the entire banking system, including how to get more than 8% interest per year as an absolute minimum, with hardly any more work than filling out your deposit slip in a different way, and then go from there all the way up to as much as 90% to 25% in special situations for limited periods. How to protect yourself against the possibility of interest rates dropping in the future. So you are guaranteed the high interest rates available to you today, even if tomorrow your friend find their return on their savings cut in half. How to make banks pay interest to you on money you don't really even have to deposit, on non-existent money, on money you have already spent, and the bank loves you for it, because no matter how much you make, the more they make more. Page 114 44 shows you how. Yes, how you can even earn high interest on how you can even earn high interest on your credit card, so that you are now earning interest on other people's money and spending it exactly the same way. This and spending it exactly the same time. And we have the book here. Says special warning: two common mistakes that unknowingly trap thousands of depositors every year that could completely destroy your savings, and how to defer income tax on interest you get. Two plans that offer marvelous tax sheltered advantages. And let us repeat once again, all completely protected by United States government insuring agencies with no service charges, no minimum balances, no legal technicalities. Ready to go to work right now for the investor with 500 US dollars or 500,000 US dollars. Prove every Prove every penny to yourself entirely at our risk. The top money men in this country, the very banks themselves use these techniques. Why shouldn't you? All you risk to lend them or is a $8 stamp with a coupon below. Why not send it in and start your savings earning double and triple interest? That's 8% to 13.5% or more today. And we have the no risk coupon today. We have it says, please rush me dash quantity copies of Don't Bank on It. I understand the book is mine for 8.98 complete. In addition, I understand that I may examine this book for a full 30 days entirely at your risk. If at the end of that time I am not satisfied, I will simply return the book to you for every cent of the money back. All right. So that's today's read. See you tomorrow.